how good you guys were, but I was surprised that we were able to dial in that sound because the publisher has its own unique sound to it. So, guys in the comments, we won't be able to see your comments back here. Farron will be when he comes back in. He's doing his own thing right now. He's trying to get something going. And he'll type to you in the comments saying hi. Don't touch Jake. But anyway, so Kevin, what do you got anything big coming up or anything in the works? I know you've released the Tulsa Time. That did pretty good for you. How many views did you get off of that one so far?
So yeah, we've started with Tulsa Time this week. It dropped this past Tuesday on all platforms. And we are going pretty quick. It's looking to be my biggest release so far, which is what your goal is when you release music. Is your first one should be smaller. I think each time you release music, you should get bigger and bigger. You should get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, so Tulsa Time's doing really good for me. You guys are killing it. Y'all are streaming it out of this world and seem to love it. And that means a lot to me. And my biggest song right at this moment is Cold Hearted. And I just got word yesterday that we've hit 80,000 streams.
I was going to say, I think Spotify alone, you're over 22.
Yeah, on Spotify alone, where I'm over 22,000 streams on it. And we just put it out a couple months ago, end of January. So
yeah, it was right before you were on the podcast.
About a month and a half ago. So
I think it was right before you were on the podcast, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
2 or 3 days.
So that's big. That's big for me. It's my biggest song so far. Y'all seem to really love it, and I love you guys for loving it. So
absolutely,
yeah. Let's keep the ball rolling on that. We got a lot of music coming out.
Yeah.
I've teamed up with a record label, and they're helping me push some stuff. Maybe that announcement will come sooner than later. So y'all stay tuned for that. Yeah, there's a lot of big things. Just became a sponsored pro artist with Breed Love Guitars. Probably one of the best guitars I ever played. I got to plug them not just because I have to, but because they are absolutely some of the best guitars I ever played. The craftsmanship, the playability, and the sound is top notch. And yeah, so Breed Love, shout out to Breed Love. Red Rope Threads, hat company that I'm working with. They make some killer hats, and are awesome. And we just got a whole big new shipment of merch in. We got the Big Man, Bigger Voice series merch in, and we're selling those at the shows. And here soon we're going to hopefully be dropping a website so y'all can purchase that merch online. So we, a lot of big things. And man, life's moving really quick for me. And I'm super busy, but it's a good kind of busy, and I'm grateful for it. And it's all because of you guys that are listening and watching out there, for supporting me and being there, and just standing behind me, because without you guys, I'd be nothing. Without you guys, my music wouldn't be trending. Without you guys, I'd still be making music because that's what I love to do. But without you guys, I wouldn't be able to push it where I'm going. And because of you guys, you're helping me bring old country back and what I believe is real country music, not the crap we listen to today.
Absolutely.
On the radio.
You know, and that's why we started this whole thing was, we found, a lot of people are tired of what's going on mainstream music right now. They've been tired for a while, and we decided, why don't we do something to help with that? And so we started this podcast looking for independent artists like Kevin here and everybody else we've had on, everybody we're going to have on. And don't forget, we've got more coming. This is nowhere near the end. We're booked almost all the way out to September right now, other than a couple dates. We're booking, we're getting some great artists from all over the country too. And most of them want to be in person. So that way we can have quality interviews with sound and video, as long as we can get all of our ducks in a row. So But we're working towards building this as big as we can, so that guys like Kevin here can be as big as they can get. Because he's got a great social media following, but having another outlet to help push your music and push your personality as well. Because Kevin, I gotta tell you, Kevin is one of the most genuine dudes and just funny and goofy as hell. We've had a hell of a time this weekend.
It's been a great time.
Kevin showed up Friday at noon.
Friday
Right
about noon Central Time or
and
so.
We'll be here till Sunday. Also, another cool piece of his merch are Zippos. Don't forget, you can get Zippos too. Here, put that in the camera view, would you?
Zippo lighters.
Drop my new Zippo, Farron. Oh, there's a Zippo. Focus. Oh, there we go. There you go. There's a Zippo. So, and his hat and koozies got actual genuine leather koozies as well. Which are, man, those are nice. Those are real nice.
My approach with my merch is this, man, is I'm a big dude. And yeah. I know that's surprising. But I'm a big dude. I am 6'5" and I'm 500 pounds, dude. And I walk around and I know what it's like to go to a show and listen to an artist that you really love as a big guy and have to walk away with a koozie or a hat. And so when I approached my merch line, I made sure that if I couldn't wear my merch, I wasn't going to sell it. So I made sure that I got up to, I made sure that I got a 6X or 6XL shirts at least up to 6X for the bigger guys like me. And I wear a 6X. So I know if I can wear a 6X, most people can wear a 6X or a little smaller. And so we carry from small to 6XL in the shirt line. We have bigger forming fitting hats that can fit a normal head, but also fit the bigger head.
Right here, actually.
Yep. And we also made sure that with our koozies, I didn't want the foam koozies that if you've ever had them and you bought them after a year of using them, they start to fall apart. Or they fade, they start to fall apart. So I looked for, a merch line that was leather, something that could stand the test of time. And we all know leather has been known. It'll wear, of course, but it'll stand the test of time. And so I made sure I got genuine leather for my koozies so that way y'all can have quality products. Absolutely. At the same price that everybody else charges for this stuff. Yeah. So,
and there's nothing wrong with doing the cloth koozies and stuff, but like you said, having a better quality in your koozie, I'd tell you this now, if I'm looking at a fabric or a leather koozie and they're the same price, I'm going with the leather koozie. I don't know anybody that's not. And I know I have a couple. So
yeah.
And that's one thing too, is as you can tell, I'm kind of a merchandise whore when I have a chance to get it, especially in person. And that's hard for me too, is buying online because I don't know how they fit.
And my shirts are $30 a piece. Yep. My hats are $30 a piece. My Zippos are $25. My koozies are $10. My stickers are $3 a piece, 2 for $5. Kind of things like that. And then when you have to buy online, you got to pay for shipping as well. So.
But if you go to one of your shows,
if you go to one of my shows, you pay $30. It's $30.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for some people, because I got a big following in Australia and Germany and the UK and stuff, so I understand that I may not be over there in the near future. So if you want to support me and buy, hopefully my website will be available here very soon, and you can purchase my merch on that. And that goes to that. Purchasing merch from people is probably the biggest way you can support them other than word of mouth. And the reason why I say that is because people like me that are independent, that do music for a living, so all the shows I play, the merch I sell, that goes to paying my bills and putting new music out. And I will let you guys know that putting new music out is super expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Songs can range anywhere between, for the independent artist, for just a regular studio, can range anywhere between $1,000 to $4,000 a song. And as an independent artist that I have traction, but I don't get millions and millions of streams a month. So for me to be able to pay for that, it all comes from what I'm doing merch sales and shows.
Yeah.
And what I'm playing shows wise. That's how I get music out. That's the only way I get music out, because I'm not making money on the streaming side of things yet. And until that happens, y'all going out and supporting and buying a hat, buying a shirt, buying a koozie, a sticker, whatever, just supporting in that way is the biggest thing that you can do. And showing up to the shows obviously helps out, because when venues know that the artist can bring a crowd, they tend to be able to pay them more, because they know that they're going to sell door tickets and things like that. They know they can sell those as well as alcohol sales. They know they're going to sell to a lot of people, so they're willing to pay more, which in return helps me put music out. So go out and support, and make sure you tell your mom and them about independent artists, ones that you like.
Yeah, and don't just like their post. Okay, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, share it. If you're on TikTok, save it, repost it, share it. The more you do that for the artists that you love, the bigger that they're going to get, because people are going to continue doing the same thing. Plus, the more saves, likes, and shares that you have boosts that person's profile, so that way they can continue building as well.
Very much so.
Outside of the business aspect of this, and I know we've had this talk, and I know Merle Haggard and Waylon are huge influences on you, but we were talking yesterday. We was listening to a song there in the house. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about them and their inspiration for you or not. Fit in. I don't fit in song.
Oh, yeah. The Reeve brothers.
Yeah.
They're very underrated. I've got to meet those guys through TikTok and things like that, and got to have conversations with them through the TikTok and things, and I shared their posts, they shared my posts, and we've always been really, really supportive of each other, and they're great. They're some of the, most humble guys, and as well as their music is phenomenal. They're the only artist out there that really, truly, that I've heard bring that authentic 70s, 80s honky-tonk country sound.
Outside of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Like mine's outlaw.
Yeah.
But mine, I would compare my sound more close to like Channing Wilson, Jamie Johnson, Creed Fisher, that kind of stuff, more so than the, Johnny Paycheck or David Allan Coe or something like that. I love the David Allan Coes and Johnny Paycheck, but when I compare an artist and I think of an artist, and what I really think of when I think of really 70s and 80s true country music, like that sound, the Reeve brothers has got that sound, and they're the only people I've heard that has that sound.
Yeah.
That really, like when you hear their voice, you're like, yeah, that's 70s, 80s country music right there.
I'll tell you too, and most people that, especially if they haven't seen you play in person yet, is the vocals that you get on his tracks are absolutely amazing. Your music, whoever's doing your music for you is doing a great job. But man, that wail and that big tone you have, you don't get that in a song, and I don't think you can. I don't think you can get that in a recording without blowing somebody's speakers. And that's the thing about live performances. That's what a live performance is. Yeah. Like, if you want a perfect performance, listen to the track that's been recorded. If you want to hear emotion and you want to hear the real true essence of an artist, go catch them live and listen to them live. I can tell you right now, I'll probably mess up 15 times in a show. Nobody notices no,
because,
not one bit.
Because I try to take everything at a professional standpoint, and I've been doing this for a pretty good while now and played more shows than I could count. And I've got to realize that, I'm going to mess up every show. It's not going to be perfect. Ain't no show I've ever played been perfect. Yeah. But I need to minimize my mistakes to the point to where they're not drastic mistakes, to where the crowd knows that I messed up. Yeah. And
the only time I noticed you messed up last night was you called yourself out on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll do that from time to time, because guess what? Like, my biggest stance is to show the listener, the people that are following me, the people that are there to hear me, to know that, hey, I'm human too.
Yeah.
I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I may be up on the big stage and people may be looking at me and think of me as like whatever, however they think of me as some big dude that's some, got a lot of things going for him, that is growing in popularity and a lot of people know who he is. But at the end of the day, I'm just like you. I'm human. And I'm going to make mistakes just like you do on the job site when you're working and busting your butt every day. You may make a mistake, but you go back and fix it. I'm going to do the same thing on stage.
Yeah.
You can't expect a live performance to be perfect. If you do, just sit in your car and listen to the radio. That's just,
Yeah.
that's just the facts.
And the way you interact with the crowd, especially because when you're changing your tuning for certain songs and stuff, just the way you do it, you play with the audience a little bit and joke around,
Yeah.
You have a great stage presence. You have a great, you make it into a forum for your listeners while they're there. You're not just there playing, you're there as yourself and being an actual artist, and in between songs and while you're tuning and stuff, you're talking with and goofing around with and stuff like that. And it was just, seeing you play in person was just, you can't describe the difference between hearing your music on the radio or anything to listening to you in person. Cause a lot of people I've seen in concert, there's very few of them that sound as good or better than what they do in their recordings. Because like you said, recordings are perfect. And I'm going to tell you this now, you're one of those artists that you sound better in person than you do on your recordings. And that is damn near impossible to say because your recordings are amazing.
And that's because, and like I said, I think it's because it's the aspect of the live show. It's I'm a very emotional person when it comes to my music. So as I'm portraying my music, I'm portraying it in the rawest form ever. I'm portraying that music as I wrote it.
Yeah.
And that's the rawest form you're going to get. And that's where you get true emotion. And if you can't go up on stage and make somebody feel something, like if you make them feel what you're talking about on the radio, but you get up on stage, you can't make them feel the same or better, then you're doing it wrong. That's just how it is. You got to be able to portray yourself in the rawest form and give people the rawness. That's what they need. That's what they want. They want to know that you're a normal person that's been through the same shit that they've been through.
Yeah.
Get that. They don't want you to be, that's why I'll never walk around with my head held up high like I'm some big shot, because at the end of the day, I'm not. I'm just, you got a career, I got a career, and I'm going to go as far in my career as you want to go as far as in your career. And at the end of the day, I might be in the limelight of the public, but at the end of the day, I'm Kevin Thomas. At the end of the day, I am who I am, and you like me or you don't. And if you don't like me, great. I don't care. I'm just gonna be me. But just being me seems to work, and people like that.
Well, and that's like what we say here is, if you like what we're doing, if you don't like it, I really don't give a damn. Scroll on, go to the next.
Exactly.
Give us a like and a share anyway.
Yeah. Hey, this is my motto. Haters contribute to the algorithm just like people that love you.
Oh yeah.
So if you hate my music, that's fine. Please type that you hate my music in the comments, because guess what? That gets me seen even more. So please do so.
Yeah, there's no such thing as bad publicity. So
I do have a question for you, Kevin.
No, you're not allowed.
I'm running this show. Okay, I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
Is this the Throttles portions of Tunes and Throttles?
Me and Eric saw a band a couple weeks ago down in Florida.
Yep.
That
actually
they were really good live.
I was talking to him a couple days ago. Actually,
they were really awesome live. Their recordings, his vocals, he just doesn't have any feeling in it. Yeah. Do you struggle with that in the studio, or does that come pretty natural to you?
No, I definitely struggle. I think it's hard to portray feeling through so feeling is portrayed through all senses, meaning eyesight, hearing, touch, all those things. Like that's how feeling is portrayed. And when you're in person, it's almost like you can not. When you're in person, it's easier to portray emotion because they're looking at you, they're hearing you, and damn near they can touch you. And so it's like, I don't know. It's almost like they can just feel the emotion. It's almost like an energy, and it's almost like an energy field. And when somebody's got that, and they're up on stage and they're portraying it, you can almost feel it
Yeah.
hitting you. But in a studio, it's almost like there's a wall there, and all you're hearing is the sound. Can songs touch you that's been recorded? 100%. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to the radio and found a new artist and tear up, listen to the song, or want to get out and dance, and stuff like that. That's all feeling. That's all emotion that I'm feeling that they're portraying to me, and they're doing it through the track. But yeah, it's there's a bit, like we was talking about, there's a big difference in live and recording. It is hard to portray a feeling through just a recording. Now there are ways that you can do that, vocally, but I'm going to sing songs in the studio the same way I'm going to sing them live.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to sound close. It's just, like live, my voice
carries so much more.
Big band, bigger voice. That's my motto.
No joke.
My voice literally just demands attention. It's kind of like Merle Haggard. And don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing myself to Merle Haggard. Merle Haggard, in my opinion, is the king country music, and he is the best thing to ever hit country music.
Wait, it's not George Strait?
No. Not by a long shot. But with Merle Haggard, he was the kind of guy that could just go in, room full of people talking, not paying no attention. He strummed the guitar and hit the first note, and everybody shuts up and listens. And that's what I want to do. That's what I go for. Is like I come in and I just want to start singing. And I want everybody to just.
Well, I'll tell you now. Last night, I know the room wasn't completely full, but we had a pretty good show out for you. The only talking that was being done was, "Holy shit, that's amazing."
Yeah.
Everybody was very, and they were real talkative when you first come up. You started playing, man. They just cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you demand attention.
Yep.
And my voice is one of those that demands attention. Yep. Well, because it carries. It's almost like a knife that just cuts through the crowd, and people have no. I mean, like I can't tell you, one of my favorite things to do, like to see in a show, is to go out. And everybody talking, nobody caring, and then that like they never heard me or whatever, and they're at their local music venue or whatever, and and then all of a sudden I break into my opening song, whatever that might be. It changes almost every night, but whatever my opening song is, and then they all just kind of stop and look.
Yeah,
and they're like, they may not stop and look the whole time. They may go back to talking, but when I first start singing, they instantly stop to look because they stop what they're doing to
they get
listen.
Surprised.
They get surprised, and I demand the attention when I start singing, and it's just because my voice just punches through the crowd like a knife, and they have to look. I mean, there's just no way they don't, and kind of like Jamie Johnson's like that too.
Yeah,
and he's just got a real smooth. I got a real smooth voice. Jamie Johnson's got a real smooth, almost like butter voice, but I have like that real smooth voice, but with rasp.
Yeah.
But not enough rasp to where you can't understand what the person's singing.
No.
Just enough to really give it a different tone. Give it
well,
something.
It's kind of like Merle. Merle Haggard. He could do those high notes and get into that low, and kind of like Don Williams too. Both of them. They both, when they did their lower notes, had that rasp to their voice.
Yep.
But you project so much when you're singing. It's insane. It's amazing. I can't tell you how much we enjoyed watching you, and everybody there enjoyed watching you. Like I said, the owner of the venue come up, gave me a big hug, and said, "Thank you so much for getting them in here. This was amazing." Those guys there, a lot of the locals here, they have an idea of what we're doing, but they haven't quite caught on until last night.
Yeah.
And they went, "Where did you get this guy?" I said, "He's on my podcast." They're like, "Your podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then explain what we're doing. And they're like, "Holy shit, you're getting real people on there." Yeah, we're not just getting every other day, every day Joe Schmo that's playing your covers and that's it throughout Illinois. We're going across country getting people. We've got a couple guys from Kentucky like Kevin, some gals from Kentucky, Nashville, guys and girls from Nashville, Texas. Had some artists from Colorado, and we're still going. Like I said, I think we've got one more open date in June, one more open in August, and 2 left in September because we haven't actually set those dates to actually go after yet. And we're still talking to 6 or 7 more artists, if not more. So, it's, and here's the thing too, for independent artists, don't be afraid to reach out. If we tell you no, it's not a bad thing. We'll help you get where you need to go. Like Farron was talking about that band that we met down in Florida. They're not a country band. They're a rock band, whatever. But there's somebody we'd be interested in having on here just because they're an independent artist. They're doing something and it's theirs. They're doing it their way, the way things are supposed to be done. And they're good artists. Now, where their recordings are right now, it's like, yeah, we can push that, but you can do better. And they agree, absolutely, what do we need to do? And we'll give them our two cents for it, which, I've got all the advice in the world and it's free. It don't mean it's worth anything. You know what I mean? Take it with a grain of salt, but
that might be why it's free.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm just messing.
But,
honestly, I'm surprised he can give it away most of the time.
But, they did the whole, we sat and we thought about it and then we tried it and you were right. I'm like, I'm not always right. It's just, I've got an ear and I'll tell you what I think because I have an outside view of it. Whether it's harsh or not, I've got a view for you. And he's like, yeah, no, we're going to go re-record with this, that, and the other. You're completely right. We're going to put it all back out again. I said, okay, when you do, let us know.
And and the thing is like, to all the artists out there that get told no over and over and over again, remember something is that I got told no 100 times to the one yes I got.
Yeah.
And that's in all aspects of this thing. Because you got to realize this is a very oversaturated business, oversaturated.
Doesn't matter what state you're in.
No, everywhere's got great musicians, and unfortunately, it's just oversaturated. And you've got to, you're reaching out to this venue, but you've got 120 other guys doing the same.
Yep.
And they just can't get to everybody. I used to be real bitter about that because I used to really hate the fact that I would get told no, but then I come to realize that to be better is I just got to take that no on the chin and just keep going.
Well,
and that's what I did. And, and you got to understand that not every artist that comes through somebody's messenger, comes through somebody's door wanting to play their venue or be on their podcast is a fit for that, what they're trying to do.
Exactly.
And you just got to realize that your music may not be the fit, from what Tunes and Throttles is trying to do, your music might not be the fit for them. And
well,
that's
and the thing is, we may not be the fit for the artist either.
True.
So,
true.
And that's the thing too, is if we turn down somebody because we're not fit for them or they're not fit for us, we have a network that we're working with other podcasts and stuff all over the country that we may not be the right fit for you, but we know somebody that you might be. As long as they're interested, you have another avenue. We're not going to shut down an artist and just say, we don't want you on here and that's all there is to it. We're going to give you a reason and give you tips to what we would like you to have or like you to do. And on top of that, it could just be, look, I don't think it's appropriate for you to be on here. Or I don't think we're a good fit for your music. I think we'll be bad for you because what you're trying to do is not necessarily, for us or for you to be on here. Let's find you somewhere else to be.
Yeah. You might not, and you might not be everybody's cup of tea.
Yep.
Like to every good artist, there's 3 bad.
Yep.
And that's just the truth of it. Not everybody is not everybody is talented enough to do this. And and there's a lot of people that is talented enough to do this, but guess what? They're too damn lazy to do it. And you'll come to find that out when it comes to the music scene is that, my first year that I played music, I played 226 shows. And for the average person out there and listening, they don't fathom how many shows that is. They're like 226 shows. Oh, well, there's 365 days a year. Well, look how many days he's got where he's not playing. But that's averaging 5 shows a week. With some days where I was playing 2 shows or 5 shows a weekend. And when I say weekend, my weekend is Saturday, Sunday. So 5 shows in a 2-day span. That's a hell of a lot of shows. And you're never home. And that's a lot of strain. And that's the kind of work I'm talking about it takes. And, playing shows too, playing all those shows, I'm very grateful that I done that and played that many shows my first year playing music full time. But it just made me better as an artist and stuff like that and helped me hone my craft, I guess, more so. But Lost my train of thought. Help me hone my craft as an artist.
There you go.
And better myself so that way when my time came, I would be able to get up on stage and there wouldn't be as many big hiccups, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to what we was talking about is like, yeah, I'm going to mess up, but, I minimize my mess ups to where they're very minimal and people don't realize that I messed up, and stuff like that. And that comes from experience in doing this thing. But one thing that people lack on that is the future for this industry is social media. Nobody puts content out. Like before this right here, I'll just let you guys know, before we done this podcast, we've spent the last 3 or 4 hours a day doing nothing but shooting content for my social media. Yeah. Not Tunes and Throttles social media, but for my social media. And then
we
these
might
guys,
use a few clips,
they might use some of it, but these guys stepped up and helped me film this stuff.
Absolutely.
We had, we not to spoil anything, but we had motorcycles, limos, and all kinds of crazy shit in this stuff. So look forward to that content.
We're here to, and that's the thing too, is we're here to help the artists in any way that we can. Kevin said he wanted to make some content as far as, just for TikTok and stuff like that, and some other things as well. And we're like, yeah, absolutely. Whatever we have to do to help you and make sure that it looks right and does right for you, that's what we're going to do, because we're here for the artist. We're not here to make money off of an artist. We're here to help real music get out there to people so that they can actually hear good country music again. Because again, everything on main media country is just, not all of it. Don't get me wrong, not all of it.
No, there's still good songs.
Majority. I would say majority is kind of crap. But now I have a decent question for you that I got to ask you. And before I do that, though, I'm going to do one. I got 2 questions for you. One, you're playing somewhere tonight. Where are you playing tonight?
Yeah, I'm playing in Aroma Park, Illinois, just south of Chicago, at a place called Fun Hub.
Yep.
I'll be playing a duo show with my buddy John David Daly. He's a local favorite up that way. Yeah, it'll be good. It starts at 8:00 Central Time. I think we're taking the limo up there, so we're going to be riding in style. And we're going to have a good time. But yeah, I'll be playing there tonight.
So now, before I go on to my next question, I want to go ahead and give another shout out to our sponsors, the Publisher in Bethany, Illinois, because some of you guys weren't here in the beginning. The Publisher in Bethany, Illinois is our official sponsor. They are a bar, obviously. And actually where Kevin got to play last night, which we've got some video clips of that we'll put up if you didn't get to see the lives last night. They had Sarah Beth Brewer opening for Kevin Thomas, and it was hell of a show, and it's a good venue. It's always a good time with good people. So if you're ever in the area and you get a chance, go ahead and go down to the Publisher in Bethany, Illinois. It's pretty easy to find once you find downtown. Now, my big question, this is something I wanted to start doing. It's more than one part question. Try to remember. It's pretty easy. 1, what is the favorite song that you've either written or put out? 2, what is the song that means the most to you? And 3, which song has surprised you the most, whether it doing good or doing bad?
So my most favorite song I've ever wrote
or recorded, doesn't matter.
I really like this one that I wrote with my buddy Joe Clark. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it hasn't been released yet, and I've not even played it live ever. But y'all heard it last night.
Yeah.
We don't really have an official name on it, but I think we're gonna call it Heaven. And it's about the road life. It's about talking about being away from home and missing home, and it talks about busting your ass now so that way you can spend your time that you want to spend later in life being able to provide for your family. And so it's almost like putting the hard work in now so that way you'll prosper later.
Yeah.
It's kind of what the song's about, and stuff like that. So that's probably my favorite recent one that I've really wrote, and stuff like that. The song that's meant the most to me would probably be Wither Away.
That's my favorite.
Because it is it's a song that really, I wrote that song in the deepest, darkest point of my life. I was rock bottom There was no further. There's only one way out, and I think you might know what way that was. There was only either go up or get out, and thank God I chose to get up and go, and I wrote "Wither Away," and at that time I was drinking very heavy. I was doing things I shouldn't have done to cope with the way I was feeling and the things I was coping with, and all those things. And so "Wither Away" is probably my most meaningful song for sure. It's also a song that I don't sing very much. I sang it last night. I sang it last night because I knew it was Eric's favorite, and I sang it because of that. But I normally don't sing it much because there's a lot of times that I sing it, I just get really emotional. And I'm a big guy, and I've got a persona to protect, and I don't need all these people seeing me tearing up on stage, So I don't sing it as much as I used to. Because it seems like as more as the song grow, like
it's not something you'd want to sing every night.
It's a song that grows in time, and as it really starts molding, and my life starts taking off to where it was, it only makes me more emotional because I remember where I was when I wrote that song
and how
happy I am in life now. Yeah, it's almost it's crazy, and so it's I don't like singing a whole lot because it reminds me of a time when I didn't want to be here no more. And
well, I'm glad you decided to stay.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
I got to tell you, I had heard it after I found your music, which I want to tell that story real quick. I was in a TikTok room, Dylan Holiday actually. Yeah, he was in his room and didn't know Kevin, but I knew Dylan. Watched his stuff quite a bit, and he was playing some music, and Kevin popped in and said, "Hey, would you play my song for me?" And he goes, "Well, just know that this room, they're devout country fans, and if it ain't country, you're going to hear about it." Within 3 or 4 seconds of that song, it was Missing Michigan. I said, "Yep, looking him up. I'm getting him. I'm going to try to get him on this podcast as quick as I can because I had found that song and I had to have it." And then started looking through the rest of your stuff, and I found "Wither Away," and I was like, "Ooh, that's my song. I love that song now," But you don't have a bad song out there either. But the other question was, what's the one that surprised you the most, whether it doing amazing or doing terrible?
So "World Gone Crazy," it is absolutely done bad. I think it's got total 10,000 streams, and it's my lowest stream song that I have. That's also part of my fault. Reason why it's done as bad as it has. It ain't done bad,
Just not as good as you.
Not as good as I thought it was going to do. I thought, when I wrote it, I wouldn't say it kind of is political, not really, but it really talks on the struggles of society today. Yeah, and the shit that we go through, just as people, and the shit that I see out in the world that I kind of wrote it to the answer to Oliver Anthony's Richmond, North of Richmond, without throwing anybody under the bus. With Oliver, you can argue that he threw certain demographic under the bus or whatever you want to do. Some people say, "Oh, it's the truth," blah blah blah. I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it ain't. I'm just saying with my song, it don't throw anybody under the bus.
No, it just talks about everybody having a hard time,
and that's why I wrote the song the way it was. And when it comes if you really want to get down to it on well-written songs, I think it's up there with probably one of my best written songs, but my most underplayed song. And a lot of that's got to do with me because I didn't push it as hard as I have my other songs, and stuff like that. But
we can always go back after that one if you want.
It's definitely one of my better well-written songs I think that I've wrote. And I think if people would actually listen to the words, a lot of the society today, I've come to notice, don't really listen to the words anymore. They listen to the melodies.
And that's why every song sounds the same.
Yeah, and that's why every song sounds the same. They don't listen to the words anymore. But for me, I listen to the words. When I listen to a song, I listen to the words. Like the other day, a song ain't made me tear up in an awful long time. But I was on my way to record a song actually the other day, and I was sitting in the car and I had my playlist going, and I have my playlist set to where that'll add random songs in there based off of what I'm listening to. Mm-hmm. And the Reeve Brothers popped up, and they got a song called "Problem Fitting In."
Yeah,
and I let Eric listen to it last night. And I sat there and listened to that song, and I bet you I listened to it for an hour on repeat, and just teared up every time, because it speaks so much on the life that I've lived. You know, I've always been the kind of guy that was pushed back in the corner. I never got picked to play basketball. I mean, I've always been a big guy, and that's probably why I didn't get picked. But I never was picked first to play basketball with school with the friend group. You know what I mean? I was always the last guy picked. And
I was too, but that's just because I couldn't fucking play.
and there's probably that too, the reason why. But even with music, I've always felt like, especially with the community that Kentucky has, I've always felt like I've always been the last person to be thought of when it comes to stuff. But I'm always the guy that thinks of others.
Yeah.
And give them an opportunity over myself. Yeah. And now here recently, since I've blown up on TikTok and stuff, obviously you've got the people coming out of the woodworks that's wanting to book shows here and wanting to really back you now. Wanting to really work with me now and do this and do that. And to those people, fuck them. That's the truth. Fuck them. I'm not gonna entertain that. And if I do, I'm gonna make you pay for it.
Oh yeah.
So because I'm the kind of guy that if you rode with me in the beginning, you'll ride with me at the end, and no matter where that end goes, you're going to be riding with me, and that's just who I am, and that's the way it should be.
I can attest to that too. That is absolutely true.
Very much true, and that's just the thing, dude.
Well, when we first reached out to you, you were what, 1,500, 3,000 followers when we first got a hold of you, something like that. There on TikTok.
When you first got a hold of me. I think I had,
because you was only on for a month or so, I think.
Yeah, I think I only had like not even 2,000 followers, probably.
Yeah,
because my goal at the end of the year was, so in January I had like 1,800 followers.
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't reach out till December, so.
Oh well, it's probably. I probably had like 1,800 followers. I didn't have a following that I have now.
No.
When I was on the podcast the first time.
No, you had just under 9,000 the first time you were on our podcast.
And so y'all reached out, and then we scheduled for January, I think, end of January.
Yep.
And I had like 1,800 followers when you reached out the 1st of January. By the end of January,
by the end of February, man, you was up right around that 60 mark, I think.
Yeah, and now I've got at the end of January, I had like 9,000 followers. I'd been doing a lot of lives and stuff and was able to get some traction on that and gain some followers. But then, like you said, around the starting to go into the mid-February and stuff, I had a video pop off and get 700,000 views, which is my song 3/4 of the Truth, which will be coming out soon. And then like 2 days later, I had my version of Tulsa Time take off, and it's over 3 million views now.
Yeah.
And within a couple of days, hit 3 million views, which was wild.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting at 80,000. Combined through all my social medias, I'm at like 90,000 followers.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, and
just a little less than a month.
Yeah.
I added like 80,000 followers.
Yeah. Well, one thing we've always said here is, when you're getting ready to come on the podcast, we promote the absolute hell out of you as much as we can, reposting, making our own videos with your music, talking about how you're going to be on the podcast. And then after the fact, we still talk about you. We still promote you, and we still push you because we believe in what you're doing. We don't stop promoting you just because you've been on the show. We want to continue doing that. So that way, when you've got something like what Kevin's got going on now, and you want to get some more word out on it, we're still here for you. And we won't stop promoting you guys, because anybody that's been on here, because we believe in you guys as artists and musicians, and we believe in your music. So we're going to always continue pushing you and whatever. And we always try to stay in contact as well. And Kevin's been really good about staying in contact with us. Just, sometimes just calling bullshit from time to time.
Yeah.
But, when he tells me, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that, I'm like, well, when do you want to, we've got some spots open when you want to come back on. And we didn't have anything going this weekend, and he didn't either. So we're like, well, let's just get it done. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll have repeat guests. I know most of everybody that's been on has already said that they're interested in coming back when they can make it happen. So, you know, again, this train over here, it ain't stopping.
No,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, when the train gets it going, you got to keep it going.
Yep.
And the moment
Keep stoking that fire.
the moment that the train stops, well, guess what? You got to stoke the fire again and get it moving again. And it's harder to get a train moving than it is to keep it going. So, you know, you get the train going. That's how social media works too. Once you have one video pop off, keep pushing.
Oh yeah.
Because you're gonna have more pop off. I've come now to where I have, you know, about at least once every 2 weeks, I have a video go viral.
Yeah.
And it's because of the consistency and the quality of content that I'm putting
and
out.
you're pushing yourself. That's one thing I tell most independent artists that aren't already is you have to continuously push yourself and do these things yourself instead of paying somebody to do absolutely everything you're doing. So then you can't afford to do anything with recording. You know, get you a good phone, get you a camera, do all the videos and stuff yourself, you know, and don't just do one a week or one a month, you know, post 2 or 3 videos a day if you can. Make sure they're different and different topics, and each day try to be different and do your lives and all that type of stuff, because your greatest asset is yourself. You continue pushing out yourself, your music, your brand, then people are going to continue following you and following you and following you, and your music is only going to get bigger. But if you're not trying to push yourself and you take every opportunity that comes to you, you know, like your opening act, she wasn't scheduled by any means, you know. Now it's 2 days before the show. Kevin threw out the offer, and she's like, "Yep, I'm coming." You know, you don't take those opportunities, you may not, you'll miss them. What's that?
She just hopped on my live.
Hey, there she is. How we doing?
Oh, Sarah.
Oh, Sarah. Yep, Sarah Bethberg. Man, she was amazing too.
Yes.
So something else before we go on. We are doing a shorter form today, even though we are early, because, again, Kevin has a show. Kevin would have played for us, but I don't really want him to, and not because I don't want to hear his music, but he has another show tonight, and I don't want him wearing his voice out in between shows like that. I want him to sound as great as he can, and at the same time, it was our option, and I told him, dude, I don't want to make you hoarse. If you don't want to, you don't have to, you know, and that goes for any artist that comes on here. You don't have to play your music live on here if you don't want to. We have great audio, so you can. But, you know, we want this to be where you can get out whatever message you want to either your fans or to any other independent artists that are, you know, stuck in a hole or not knowing where to go. And not everything works the same for you that it will for somebody else. You know, that's just how the world works. So, you know, you guys that ask for advice or take any advice, always take it with a grain of salt, because just because it worked for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But it's not a bad idea to try something else.
And you know, to add before we get off here,
Well, we got a couple minutes.
do the little things. Those are the one thing that I've always strived to do. Is I ain't gonna lie, I'm pretty lazy at nature. I mean, I'm naturally lazy. I always have been my whole life. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but I tell you, you work damn hard.
But
being lazy.
But the little things add up, man.
Yeah.
Like what we just did earlier, where I stayed here all weekend, played a show last night, stayed with Eric, and then, you know, got up today earlier than I normally do, and decided that we're going to shoot some content. Like, those are the little opportunities, because I have things at my disposal that I normally don't have back home in Kentucky, like motorcycles and a limo and multiple
bunch of extra
people,
cameras, yeah,
and a bunch of extra cameras and a bunch of other people that can get different shots and stuff like that. So I said, let's go film. Looks like 3 or 4 hours and go film some content. And, you know, those are the little things. Don't let opportunities pass you by because you're lazy. That's all I'm saying. Is when you take when the opportunity comes your way, use it, and use it wisely, and use it to the best of your ability, and be creative with it. because that's what's going to push you further than anything is the little things, because they start adding up. If you just wait around to do nothing, waiting for the big things, they may come your way, but you got all this empty space that's not being fulfilled and you're not working. I wake up every day with the mindset of what can I do to set myself up tomorrow.
I was going to say this morning, we got up and started getting around, and me and him were talking, okay, what do we want to do here? What do we want to do there? And the girls both go, you guys just got up. Ain't you going to take a minute? Well, no, we got stuff to do. We need to get to it now.
Always plan for tomorrow, even if tomorrow never comes.
Yep.
Well, and because if you do that and you plan for tomorrow, then, you'll have no excuse then to execute it and get it done. And that's what I do is we, take those little things and make them happen and take opportunities. Every opportunity you can get, do it.
Yeah.
Don't go, oh, well, we'll do it later. No, do it now.
Well, like you said earlier today, with social media, you take one day off, you just lost a week. You take a week off of social media, you just lost a month. You take a whole month off, you just lost an entire year. Because that's how social media is. It's fast.
And the thing about social media is a lot of people believe social media is so fake. And it is. Don't get me wrong, it is super fake. Mm-hmm. But that's where I connect so much, and because
you're real,
because I'm real, and because I interact with my crowd. Interacting with your crowd is everything. Because in a world so fake, all people crave is real, and they want real. And I just be myself and be who I would be, and that's to interact with people. Like when people go on my TikTok and they comment on my videos, I don't get to everybody because I possibly can't get to everybody because TikTok don't always notify me that when people comment, and it's like I turn my phone off for 2 hours, I get back on and I got 1,000 notifications. Yeah. So it's like I can't obviously get back to everybody, but I try. The ones I see, I at least try to like it and let it tell you thank you or something like that. And that's real, and that's what people crave. And when it comes to my videos and why they keep getting drove and keep getting pushed on the algorithm when it comes to social media isn't the fact that I get a bunch of likes. It isn't the fact that I get a bunch of views. It isn't the fact that I get a bunch of reposts or shares or saves or people favorite my stuff. It's because people comment on my videos. Yeah. It's because I'm a relatable person and I'm real.
You're commenting back.
And I'm commenting back. Yeah. And it means a lot to people when you do that because, like I said, when the world's so fake, people want real. And if you're real and they know that you're just a normal person, they can connect with you on that aspect. And that's what I do. I just try to let everybody know that, hey, you're seen, I'm not some big shot that ain't going to reply back to you, ain't going to let you know that, hey, you're
not too big for the little guys.
I'm not too big for the little guys. Never going to be. I'm a big old dude, don't get me wrong, but I make time, or at least try to make time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So, again, we've got our sponsor pop up back there again, the Publisher in Bethany, Illinois. Again, if anybody has missed that, Publisher is a bar in Bethany, Illinois. They got pool tables. They got a listening room. They've got an outside venue stage as well. They've got a bar inside, a bar outside when they're doing outside stuff. They have some good wings as well. They do. Yes, and Butch's Pizza.
And some best hot sauce I ever tried in my life.
Butch's hot sauce. Yep.
Great stuff.
Yeah. They're a great place. They're one of the cheapest places around as far as your adult beverages, and they have an amazing selection of adult beverages.
Yep. I was pretty surprised with the selection when I walked in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for small town bar, and, you walk in there and you see a 30-foot old oak bar, and you walk up and there's a 25-foot bar behind it full of nothing but different liquors that you can have, and, it's a nice choice. Yep, and they just got Yuengling not too long ago because Illinois finally was allowed to have it. But, again, we're going to have to cut short what we normally do because we got to get Kevin some extra time to get ready for his event and make sure that he's relaxed and gets what he needs done before his show.
The star needs to be pampered, guys.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, too. Anybody that comes down for the weekend and hangs out with us, we pull out all the stops, do everything that we can for you as we go. Do you have any exiting words for people, independent artists, or just fans, followers, anything like that?
Yeah, just be willing to be told no, and don't hold it against people when they tell you no. Just move on with your life. Keep doing you. Come to realize that, you know, as a musician, when you first start out, the first thing you normally do is go to your local music scene and want to fit in with your local music scene. And that's cool and everything like that. But always come to realize that sometimes when your music scene's pushing you away, it's not because you don't fit in there. It's just because you have a different path. And that's what I had to come to realize when my music scene pushed me away, and everybody else got opportunities and I didn't. Even though I was working and putting myself out there and not getting the opportunities that others was getting, I come to realize that maybe the local music scene isn't for me, and I have my own path. And Billy Don Burns said that he left Arkansas and moved to Texas because the Arkansas scene pushed him out. And now look at Billy Don Burns. The man has wrote songs for Merle Haggard, pretty much everybody,
yeah,
and was good friends with Merle Haggard and wrote songs for some of the biggest artists in the world, Willie Nelson included in that. And they've released songs. Cody Jinks even released a Billy Don Burns song, and you know, stuff like that. And even Cody Jinks even wrote about that in one of his songs, Hippies and Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know, he talked about it. He said, "I've never been much on the local scene, not just talking Nashville, if you know what I mean, you know, kind of thing." He's like, you know, just everywhere where he felt he didn't fit in, and that's okay. You know, the world's full of misfits. Be one of them, and go find your own path, crave it, and meet people like I have with Eric and the guys with Tunes and Throttles, and you know, this is in Illinois. My home state's Kentucky. Most of my shows I play are 3 or 4 hours away or longer. But guess what? They pay me premium prices to come out and play a 2-hour show for them.
Yep.
And when I go home, I can't even get half the price that I charge. And they about break my arm to get me up here to play. So just carve your own path and don't worry about if the local scene accepts you or not. Do your thing and work hard and bust your ass. And if you're talented, you work hard and bust your ass, you'll go far. I promise you.
What's that saying? Get in where you fit in.
Get in where you fit in.
So, guys, we're going to be winding down here. Like I said, Kevin has another show tonight, and it's about a 2-hour drive. So we got to gas up the limo and other vehicles so we can get up there with him, make sure he has everything he needs. Next weekend, March 29th, we have Jacob Perry live. Jacob Perry is Illinois local. He's got some stuff out on YouTube and Facebook. He's working on a Spotify as we talk. Hopefully he'll have something up by then. But if not, you can always find his stuff on YouTube and Facebook. So Jacob Perry Music on YouTube and Facebook. Definitely go check him out. Get acquainted with him before he comes on the podcast. Like I know a lot of you have with Kevin Thomas. You know, if you know their music before they come on here, you're going to enjoy it a hell of a lot more. I can tell you that. But Kevin, we want to thank you for all that you've done up here, and you know, coming back on the show again and really getting your chance out there and having a better audio quality than last time.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all having me. It's been a great weekend so far. I'm looking forward to ending the weekend on a bang, and hopefully get to come back up here sooner than later.
You're always welcome. You know that.
Yep.
So again, guys, thank you all for coming. Facebook on Tunes and Throttles is starting to build. If we can get everybody to go over there and start following that as well. We're going to try to continue finding venues for the artists as they come so that they can have a live show locally here. We got to find our sponsors for that and for our channel. We'll be working on that. But thank you guys from YouTube and TikTok for coming in here, watching us and interacting with us. I know we didn't get to see your comments, but Farron's back there telling us what you're getting. We'll be able to read them soon, and he's been interacting with you guys. We really appreciate all the following that we have from you guys. We really appreciate, and Buck Brown back here. Sorry, Buck. I'll give him a spotlight real quick. So Buck Brown's one of our friends from Georgia. He coming through while he's working, decided he'd come in and help us this week. And the name Tunes and Throttles actually came from Buck Brown himself, thankfully.
Don't let him lie to you. He came up here because he heard Kevin Thomas was going to be in Illinois.
Well, that's more true.
He said, I gotta go up here and welcome the superstar into Bethany. And
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, that was his thing was I'm going to be coming through the area and I could stop and shut down and hang out with you guys because I want to meet Kevin and so that you're not far off on that though.
Yeah, he's been following me around, filming me all day. I don't know what I don't really know what he's planning on doing with that stuff. I guess he's gonna hold on to it and be like, in 2 years from now when I'm selling out stadiums, he's gonna be like, hey, yeah, man, I met this dude like 2 years ago, man. I've been on that train, brother. So
yeah. But guys, again, thank you all so much. Don't forget, if you're not following Kevin Thomas Official on everything, right? TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yeah.
You can find his music on all streaming platforms.
Yep.
So make sure you go follow him on every one of those. Make sure you hit those share buttons, those save buttons, and those repost buttons. Make sure you blow his music up because he's an amazing person with some amazing music, and we want the world to hear what he's doing, not just the people that already are. And he has a lot of music coming.
A lot of music coming.
How many you got in the works of recording right now?
A bunch. I don't even know how many. It feels like the last 3 weeks has been nothing but studio time. So
yeah.
Studio time and shows, and that's it. I've not wrote a song in like 3 weeks, so that's kind of odd.
Well, we got you a title for one though, didn't we?
We got a title for one. It's in my phone. We'll see if that works out. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I haven't really been writing. I've been on the road and just doing all the other things that it takes to make it in this industry. So
yeah. Well, guys, that's all for us today. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for being a part of this. We'll see y'all later.
Yep. We'll see you in Illinois.
Cut us out, buddy. We're ended on one. TikTok, goodbye.